The rain fell hard that evening, like the sky itself couldn't bear to hold its grief anymore. In the dim glow of the streetlights, Daniel stood motionless beside his car, his heart pounding in disbelief. Across the street, framed by the golden lights of a cozy little cafe, sat her, the woman he once abandoned without hesitation, without mercy, Emily. Her laughter echoed softly through the window, and beside her sat a little girl, around 5, her curls bouncing as she giggled, her small hands clutching a pink stuffed bunny. Daniel's throat tightened. For a moment, the world blurred, because that child, those eyes, he knew them. Those were Emily's eyes. Sita 1. If you're already feeling that ache in your chest, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness for more heart-touching stories that remind us what love, regret, and redemption truly mean. 6 years ago, Emily had stood in that same rain, cold, trembling, her tears indistinguishable from the downpour, as Daniel slammed the door on their marriage. They had tried for years to conceive, but every doctor's visit ended with the same crushing verdict: "I'm sorry, Mrs. Carter, you may never be able to have children." Emily's heart broke a little more each time, while Daniel's patience thinned. He started spending nights out, his phone turned off, his eyes colder each morning. Emily noticed the perfume that wasn't hers on his shirts, the lipstick stains that didn't belong to her. Still, she prayed, loved, and forgave. Until one evening she found him laughing in their kitchen with another woman. That night he said the words that carved permanent scars in her soul. "You can't even give me a child, Emily. What kind of wife are you?" And just like that, he left, with his mistress Melissa, and filed for divorce a month later. The following year was a living hell for Emily. Her world shrunk to 4 gray walls and a silent phone. She couldn't sleep without hearing his words echoing through her mind. But life has a way of leading broken souls to unexpected places. It started with a trip she didn't want to take. Her friend Claire convinced her to volunteer at a children's shelter, a place filled with laughter, chaos, and stories that made her realize her pain wasn't the only kind in the world. There, she met Sister Margaret, the elderly caretaker who ran the shelter. The woman carried decades of compassion in her eyes, and noticed immediately that Emily wasn't just there to help others. She was there to heal herself. One winter afternoon, as Emily helped organize the storage room, a faint cry came from the doorstep. They rushed outside and found a newborn baby wrapped in a faded blanket, shivering, abandoned. Emily held the baby against her chest as tears streamed down her face. "She's freezing," she whispered. Sister Margaret nodded softly. "Then maybe she's meant to find warmth in your arms." That baby girl, whom Emily named Lily, became the light in her once dark world. Raising Lily wasn't easy. Emily faced whispers, judgment, and loneliness. People gossiped about the divorced woman raising a child that isn't hers, but Emily didn't care. Each sleepless night, each scraped knee, each giggle filled her heart with something Daniel had never given her: purpose. She worked 2 jobs, finishing online courses at night to become a teacher. The small apartment she rented became a sanctuary of love and laughter. She taught Lily kindness before knowledge, compassion before confidence, and in return, Lily gave her everything she thought she'd lost: hope. Meanwhile, Daniel's life spiraled differently. At first, his affair with Melissa felt intoxicating: freedom, adventure, validation. But that excitement faded fast. Melissa wasn't the woman he imagined she'd be. The fight started over money, over jealousy, over guilt. 2 years later, she left him too, for another man. Daniel's business crumbled next. His arrogance cost him contracts, and his reputation deteriorated. He moved to a smaller apartment, traded his luxury car for a second-hand sedan, and spent most nights staring at old photos of him and Emily, back when life was simple, when she smiled just because he existed. He tried dating again, but no one ever looked at him with the same warmth. No one ever made his cold house feel like a home. Then, on that rainy evening 6 years later, fate, or maybe guilt, led him back to their old neighborhood. He didn't plan to see her. He just wanted to remember. But when he saw her through that cafe window, radiant and glowing with a child beside her, something inside him broke. He stepped closer, unable to breathe. Emily looked up, and their eyes met. For a second, her expression froze. Then she composed herself, whispering something to Lily before standing up and walking to the door. The rain had slowed when she stepped outside. She looked at him, not with anger, not with longing, but with calm strength. "Emily," his voice cracked. I didn't know you had a child." She smiled softly. "There's a lot you didn't know, Daniel. She's yours?" he asked, though his heart already knew. Emily nodded. "She's mine." The silence between them was heavy, broken only by the sound of distant thunder. Daniel swallowed hard. "I'm glad you found happiness." Emily studied him quietly, then said, "I didn't find it, Daniel. I built it." He looked down, ashamed. "I was a fool. I thought I was running toward something better, but all I did was run away from the only person who ever loved me." She sighed, her eyes glistening. "You broke me, Daniel, but sometimes broken things let the light in. If you hadn't left, I would never have met her. I would never have known what it meant to love without expecting anything back." Lily's laughter echoed from inside the cafe, and Daniel glanced at her again. She waved shyly at him from behind the glass. Something inside him shattered. "Does she know?" he asked quietly. Emily shook her head. "No, she doesn't need to know that the man who left her mother once thought she wasn't enough." His breath caught. "Can I at least—" But she interrupted softly. "Don't. Let's not make her part of your regrets. Let her stay in the world of kindness and love I built for her." He nodded slowly, tears mingling with rain. "You were always stronger than I ever deserved." Emily gave him a sad smile. "No, Daniel. I just learned how to stand again, without needing anyone to hold me up." She turned back toward the cafe, pausing for a moment before saying, "Goodbye, Daniel," and just like that, she walked away, the sound of her footsteps fading, replaced by Lily's laughter that seemed to carry the promise of a new beginning. Daniel watched them go until they disappeared from sight. The rain started again, soft but relentless, washing over him as if trying to cleanse his sins. He sank to his knees, whispering the only words left in him. "I'm sorry, but some apologies come too late. CTA2 before the story ends. Take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness, because every story we share is a reminder that love can heal, even when life breaks us apart." That night, Daniel sat alone in his car, staring at the cafe's fading lights. He thought about how life had given him everything: love, home, loyalty, and how easily he had thrown it all away for a fleeting illusion. Emily, once the woman who cried for his attention, was now the woman who no longer needed him. She had become her own miracle. As for Daniel, he finally understood the cruel poetry of fate. The woman he called infertile had given birth to more than a child. She had given birth to a life full of love, resilience, and grace, and he had become the lesson she left behind.